ready for this?
Yes!
I'm a good old white boy. I also am a born-again good old white boy. I'm also proud to be a Republican voting American. Did that strike a nerve with anyone? You see, everything I just said was a message of separation. Everything I just said was, in essence, an invitation to violence. Because you see, every time we separate ourselves from the rest of humanity, we are living out of our minds. Take that as a pun or take that as a truth. We're out of our minds, but we are living from our minds. Because you see, that's the way the mind functions. The mind is always in a divisive mode. It's always judging, it's comparing, and therefore it has to label everything, every person, every situation as one or another. Now, today's message has to do with the recognition of this and also the realization that as we in ourselves come to realize it, that we are personally getting involved in causing separation to disappear. You see, everything really is connected to everything else. Now, I'm not the first one to come to this realization. As a matter of fact, it goes way, way far back, all the way to where even Leonardo da Vinci stated it. He had this dawning realization. You see, where we are right now is we're at a place where the third dimensional belief systems or truths are dropping away. It may be a challenge, especially if you are so convinced that these truths are really meaningful to you. But you see, as you come to a place of, like what I just said, I'm a good old boy, etc., etc., you come to the realization that the whole world is family. And that in reality, we're much more alike than we are different. I know it's hard to imagine, but everybody else is breathing the same air you're breathing. Makes you want to wear a mask. To the separate consciousness, absolutely. So, with this in mind, my attitude is the way I treat others has little or no effect on me. That's their problem. And haven't you ever found yourself acting that out? When the fact of the matter is, what I do to others, I do to myself. You see, moving away from third dimensional truth, you come to another realization that as a being, you are always expressing. And what you express can be reduced to energy. What energy you release from yourself goes out into the invisible atmosphere about you, but it also comes right back to you. So everything that you think you're getting away with by imposing and doing to others, in reality, you're not getting away with anything. You're bringing it all right back to you. But then again, life is happening to me. Can you believe this is happening to me? What a good guy I am. I'm a good, solid citizen. And this is happening to me? Impossible. This shouldn't be. Of course, you've never heard that expressed by anyone before. And it's never, surely ever, passed your lips. But you see, the point is, life never happens to us. Life always happens through us. Because it is what we give out, that reveals our attending awareness. If you open yourself up in a heartful way, you begin to realize that your head is crazy. At the very best, your head is just nuts. It's no wonder that you have the experiences that you have in your life, because your head is always divisive. It's always judging. It's always finding fault. And it's always operating from a premise of basic insecurity. You may mask it by acting superior, but the fact of the matter is, when you get to a place of seeing that this is about you, in you, with you, and anything else is a projection of that upon everything else in your life. You see, people who love themselves, they don't hurt others. People who really love themselves do not hurt others. The more you love yourself, the less inclined you are going to be to hurt others. Because when we hate others, or rather when we hate ourselves, what we do is we impose suffering on others. I knew that today's lecture was going to be one of those where everybody's going to be standing up and doing cartwheels. Your etheric self just jumping all over the place. So, the nice thing is that in reality, this is happening. We are in the early stages of it, where we can look and we can see that when we make a shift in ourselves and we move away from my relationship to myself, it doesn't make any difference to the world, and we begin to open up and see, if I choose to heal myself, I in essence am adding that energy to the world. Think about it in terms of fear. If you in yourself recognize fear that you have been identifying with, and you cease identification with that fear, and you replace it with an actual love and an embracing of yourself, to where you accept yourself, you have compassion for yourself, in essence what you have done is you have ceased that identification. You may recognize it in someone else, but you are not going to unconsciously be identifying with it simply because they happen to be generating it in the moment. You see, that's how healing takes place. It isn't like we go out into the world and we try to convert the world to our way of thinking. As a matter of fact, we put thinking aside and we open up our hearts and we begin to realize this is where all the action really takes place. To go within and to find the things that need to be recognized and released. And in essence, then that begins the healing process that actually comes about as transformation. We come to a place of seeing that every time we raise our rate of vibration in any of our emotional fields, we have brought forth that energy for the rest of the world to recognize as a possibility for self. And I guess the last part, or one of the last parts, is we look at ourselves sometimes and we say, all of this is separate from me. The earth and I are separate entities. I am here to take the resources of the earth for my use and my benefit, my consumption. And oh, by the way, there is no such thing as global warming. It isn't happening. Don't believe it for a moment. That is, if you're a good Republican and vote that way. You see, I am definitely bringing things to your attention so you can begin to see the earth truly is calling us forth and saying, listen, you're here because I am. It isn't the other way around. As a matter of fact, more eloquently spoken by Native Americans is this: when the blood of your veins returns to the sea, and the earth in your bones returns to the ground, perhaps then you will remember that this land does not belong to you. It is you who belongs to the land. When separation disappears, it's happening right now. If you've taken exception to this, don't worry about it. Either you'll get it now or you'll get it your next time around. But for sure, it is a fact. We are at a place of great change when third dimensional truths are coming down. They're crashing down. And what is coming up out of the ashes of this is a deeper realization of our true connections, one to another and to all life everywhere. Thank you very much for your attention.
For more information about the Metaphysical Church of Enlightenment or the Rodin Foundation, please go to our website at www.rodin.org. If you have been inspired by the revelations shared in these podcasts, please donate to the Rodin Foundation's ongoing efforts to help others help themselves at www.rodin.org/donate.